we was about to start the video, and she said, let me squat right here as they start the video, right? See, this is the stuff they don't tell you about when you're training dogs, man. So, obviously, let me get that shovel right there real quick. So yeah, let me clean this up real quick, and then we can actually get to the video. You stopped it? Oh, no, yeah, keep going. Put this in the bag. All right. So now we can train people, right? So yeah, so back again with another quick video, another live session with Lulu, the Pit Bull Jack Russell Terrier cross, right? And the theme is pretty much the same, man, but the dog is different, right? So we're gonna tweak things based on the dog. Now, obviously, she's an older dog, so she's learned some habits that are unfavorable, right? As opposed to a puppy, like you just saw with Rocky, right? It's much easier to train a puppy that doesn't know anything as opposed to a dog like Miss Lulu here, that one has energy through the roof. She's a Pit Bull Jack Russell Terrier, right? Keep that in the back of your mind. You have to take that into consideration when you're training dogs. You have to take the breed of the dog into consideration, because that will tell you a lot behind why the dog is doing the things that it's doing. Most of the time it's because we've played God and created these dogs in a lab to do a specific thing really well, right? In the human world, right, that would actually be classified somewhat as a mental illness, right? When you're hyper vigilant or hyper focused on one specific thing, right? But when we have dogs like this, because we create them for specific jobs, and then unfortunately in today's world where most of the dogs are not being used for the jobs that we created them for, we start tagging the label of bad dog, right? And it's not the dog's fault. The dog is only doing what its biology is telling it to do. So now what we have to learn how to do is manage the dog that we've chosen, right, to bring into our lives, right? So as you can see, it's not cold outside, it's actually very warm, but she's shaking right now, right? She's not shaking because she's cold, she's shaking because she has so much energy, right, that she doesn't know what to do with. So now we have to show her what to do with this energy. We have to show her how to displace this energy so she doesn't start doing things like this, whining, right? Because she doesn't know what to do with this energy now, right? If you look over here, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, right? She sees those dogs all the way over there, right? So this is where she's focused on, right? Nope. Yes, good girl. That's a good girl. Yes, good girl. Right? So, did you see what I did just now, right? She was getting hyper focused on those dogs all the way over there. Those dogs are all the way over there, right? But she spotted them because of that Pit Bull Terrier in her. That's that hunter, right? That's that hunter. She didn't have anything else to focus her brain on, so she locked in on those dogs over there. And you saw the anxiety start to build up, right? I just want to go see the dogs. I just want to go see the dogs, right? So what I did just now was told her, hey, that's unacceptable, right? We don't want you to start making all these weird noises, right? I just want you to calm down. Now here's the most important part. When I corrected her, I gave a physical correction, I gave her a verbal correction, right? Again, that's that compound training, right? I gave her a physical correction, I gave her a verbal correction. As soon as she redirected her energy towards me, good girl, right? It must be that quick. Right? I don't take bad behaviors personally, because once you start taking behaviors that the dog is doing as disrespect to you, you are going to destroy your dog. It is very important that you take your feelings out of it emotionally, because the dog is not doing the things that it's doing to be disrespectful to you. The dog is doing the things that it's doing for one or maybe two reasons. It's because you have not told it properly, you have not communicated properly with the dog that the behaviors that it's doing is unacceptable, you don't want it, and again, you have to take into consideration the breed of dog that you have, which is going to drive the dog to do certain behaviors because we played God and exponentially compounded on certain behaviors and certain breeds. So now the dog only knows how to do one thing very well. And if you don't let that dog do it, then it's going to be like her, hyper focused. And when it wants to get to something, it's, oh my God, can I just get to it, please? Right? Then that becomes excessive over time if you don't correct it. So that's, after that long soliloquy, right? This is what we're going to be working on with Miss Lulu here, right? So Miss Lulu has been with us for 2 weeks. This is going on her 3rd week. So now, right, we're going to really start hyper focusing on her impulse control, right? We've been working on it, right? But now we're going to step it up to the next level, right? Lulu? Yes, good girl. Nope. Yes, good girl. That's a good girl. Now, right, the one thing I want her to do right now, unlike the last video with Rocky, I wasn't expecting him to do one thing very well. Right now, what I'm focusing on with her is staying in one place, right? So when she sits, I want her to stay in that sit. Now, I don't teach a dog stay. I don't necessarily use the stay command, right? There's nothing wrong with it, but to me, it's an unnecessary word because I can compound my stay with my sit and my down, right? So now what we're gonna work on with her, right, is when she sits, right, she's gonna get rewarded, but as soon as she gets up, she's gonna get corrected. And this is how we're gonna start building duration in her sit, right? So, hey, nope, yes, good girl. Yes, good girl. Sit. All right, so now, yes, yes, good girl, nope. Yes, good girl. Now, if you notice, I'm not giving her any food on the corrections, right? She only gets food the first time she does the behavior correctly. Once she starts breaking the behavior, as you can see, she's staying now, right? It only took 3, I think maybe 4 corrections. And you can see, right? Yes, good girl. Yes, good girl. Nope. Yes, good girl. Now, I don't know if you saw just now, she corrected herself. I barely had to touch her back end. She started to put it down immediately, right? It doesn't take dogs long to learn. The reason why it takes dogs, most dogs, because I'm gonna be honest, there's some dogs that are just dumb. I know that may hurt some people's feelings. I'm just being honest. All dogs are not created equal, right? Some dogs are dumb, so you have to do a little bit more work to get that dog to understand what you're asking it to do, right? But if you know how to communicate properly with a dog, it doesn't take a dog long to learn what you're asking it to do, right? And once you see, nope, yes, good girl, that's a good girl. Once you see that the dog clearly understands what you're asking it to do, then you can start holding the dog accountable for doing that behavior. Yes, good girl. So that's all we're doing right now, right? That's all we're doing. Nope. Sit. Good. All right. A lot of distractions. Believe it or not, for this dog, it's a lot going on right now. Even though there's nothing going on. She hears dogs barking, right? There's a lot of sight, sound, smell. Everything is a distraction for her, right? As opposed to Rocky, he wasn't distracted as much. He didn't really care too much about anything going on out here. He was more focused on us, right? But that's him naturally. So same concept. We're doing the same thing. It's just it's a different dog. So we have to communicate differently, right? So again, as you can see, it's only been, what, maybe 5 minutes? And as you can see, she's already sitting longer. I barely said the word sit. You never heard me say stay. All I keep doing is every time she gets up, I'm just gonna give her that physical correction. And the reason why this physical correction is so important, and it has to be fair, right? If you notice, I'm not abusing her. She's not crying. She's not whimpering away, right? The reason why this physical correction is important is because she has to learn that she has to get permission to do everything. She cannot make the decision to do anything on her own. Because if you give a dog like this, the autonomy to make decisions, she's gonna make a lot of decisions that you don't like. And this is why she's here with me. Right? So now she's being a little rebellious. Good girl. Nope. Yes, good girl. Yes, that's a good girl. Now I'm gonna come back with some praise because I don't want to do too many corrections, because again, you don't want to create a what we call a skittish dog, to where when you overcorrect it, right, it begins to draw away. It begins to, you know, get leery of you. Good girl. So now what I'm gonna do, right, being that she's set a pretty good long time, she's probably about to get up in a minute. I'm gonna see, nope. Yes, good girl, right? Once you learn how to read a dog, you can pretty much tell what a dog is gonna do before it doesn't. You know what the dog is gonna do before the dog knows what it's gonna do, right? But you have to learn the little things in the dog, because that's gonna help you train a dog, right? The best way to train a dog is to stop a dog from doing something before it actually does it. That's the best way to train a dog, right? Because you stop the brain, right? Most people try to stop the dog physically. I use that, of course. She's about to get up again. I'm gonna wait for her to begin to get up, and then I'm gonna correct her. Nope. Yes, good girl. That's a good girl. Now I'm gonna tell you how I knew, right? You saw that head moving forward? That's a telltale sign she's looking for something, right? So I knew not too long after that head started moving forward, that butt was gonna come up, right? You see her nose going, right? She's scanning. This is her brain. That's that Jack Russell Terrier. That's that hunter in her. And you have to understand that about a dog in order to make sure you know how to communicate with that dog. Nope. Right? Again, the nose. The nose, she's scanning for something, right? Her brain, it's hard for her brain to just relax. If you understand anything about a Jack Russell Terrier, if you understand anything about a pit bull, then you understand why so many pit bulls get in trouble, right? Because it's bred in them. They are working dogs. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you, there's a lot of people with these dogs that honestly should not have them. And it's not the dog's fault, right? I'm just being honest. I don't want anybody to take that personal. I'm just being honest, right? Because the dog ends up getting in trouble, and it's not the dog's fault. Right there you go. That's a good girl. That's a good girl. Yes. Good girl. Come. Yes, that's a good girl. So I'm gonna give her a little break because she worked hard, right? Now, if you notice, right, we're doing hand feeding. And I'm gonna, even though, no. You see, the value is in the bowl, right? When I hand feed, nope. The value, nope. All I'm doing is waiting for her to turn around. That's all I'm doing. As soon as she turns around and looks at me, she's gonna get rewarded. That's all I'm waiting for her to do. Now she's in avoidance mode, which is okay. Yes, good girl. All I'm telling her is the reward is with me. That's not the reward. I know the food is in there, but the food I have in my hand is better. It's the same food, but you know why it's better? Because it's coming from my hand. And you're also gonna get some love from me, right? Who doesn't want love from me, right? Everybody wants love from me, right? But that's how I look at it, right? So that food is nasty. This food is good. It's the same food, but the reason why it's better is because you're gonna get love from me, right? Now, again, you see, it's not cold outside. That's that, I just wanna go to the bowl and eat, right? So now the next time she looks at me, I missed the opportunity to reward her. So the next time she looks at me, I'm gonna reward her, right? This is her again. Nope. Yes, good girl. That's a good girl. Timing. If you notice, I waited to the last minute, right? Waited till she got right up on that bowl. Nope. As soon as she turned around, good girl. Come on home to daddy, because this is where the goodness is, right? Yes, good girl. That's a good girl. Yes. So now you see how quickly she looks to me for the food, right? I created more value in me. That's all I'm looking to do. I'm the most valuable thing to her, not that bowl. That bowl can't love her. That bowl can't talk to her. That bowl can't do anything for her. I put the food in the bowl, but because the food is in the bowl, she has more value in that bowl, right? I don't like that. I'm the one that worked to put that food in the bowl. I'm the one that bought the bowl. Why do you value that bowl more than you value me? I don't like that. I'm jealous, right? So now all I'm doing is telling her, hey, nah, you loving on the wrong thing. I need you to love on me, right? Lulu? Yes, good girl. So this is all we're doing. Again, yes, good girl. Now I want you guys to see something. Did you see that just now? Did you see how she made the decision, right? I didn't have to correct her. We went to the bowl, right? She stood there for a minute. See if she does it again. Nope. Right? She didn't do it that time. Right? Good girl. But that last time, she went to the bowl, she looked at it, she said, nah, I like this food over here better. Let me come do this. And I didn't have to correct her. That's all we're looking to do. Once you teach a dog to do something and they understand what you want from them, you have to allow them to make the decision, right? And if they make the right decision, you praise them. If they make the wrong decision, you correct them. And eventually, over time, you're gonna have to do far less corrections and you're gonna do far more rewarding, right? But in the beginning, when you're teaching, you have to do a little bit more corrections because obviously you're teaching the dog the behavior that they're doing is unacceptable, right? They have to learn that. They have to get that yin and yang. There's no way possible that every dog in the world is going to learn from positive only and force-free only. It is impossible. This is why I'm going to be honest with you guys, and I'm only doing this for the people watching the content, right? The people that actually want to learn how to train dogs and train good girl. You see that? You see how she's offering behaviors now? This is how you get behaviors out of a dog. Sit. Yes, good girl. Right? But here's the thing. There's no being on earth that only learns from positive associations only. It is naturally impossible. You have to have negative reinforcers and positive reinforcers. I'll give you an example. When we were young, mommy and daddy used to say, make sure you look both ways before you cross the street. Why? Because if you just run out in the street because your ball, the positive reinforcer, is rolling in the street and you don't look both ways, right? Guess what's gonna happen to you when a car comes down the street? You're gonna get hit. That's a negative reinforcer. You don't wanna get hit by a car, you better look both ways before you cross that street. As opposed to being impulsive and just running across the street and get hit, right? So here's the trick. You have to use discernment. And this is where a lot of people get in trouble. They lack the ability to use discernment. So you get trainers that go so far left and say, you know what? I don't have the ability to use my brain, right? And say, okay, this is correction and this is abuse, right? It can be a fine line sometimes. But because I lack the discernment as a human to understand when not to cross that line, I'm just gonna go so far left and run totally away from correcting a dog because I don't know how to use my brain properly. So I'm gonna say positive only and force-free only, right? But here's the problem. I guarantee you, a lot of the dogs that you see me train, you'll never see those trainers train those dogs because they can't. They can't. And this is not a knock to them. This is education to you so you can help your dog, right? I promise you, I see it all the time. I see it all the time. I get dogs that have gone to 2 or 3 other positive only trainers and they never fix the behavior. The dog comes with me for 2 weeks. It's like the dog has never had the issue in the past, right? So anyway, I didn't mean to scare you, Miss Lulu. So I don't want to beat a dead horse, right? But hopefully the horse understands what I'm talking about. Good girl. That's a good girl, right? So now that I don't have any food left in my pocket, now I'm gonna give her the command, right, to eat the food out of the bowl, which the command is eat. Yes, good girl. And that's because I gave her permission to do it, not because she decided to do it. So look, folks, as always, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. You can send me an email, thestructuredk9academy@gmail.com. You can send me a text or give me a call, 815-351-6636. You can leave a comment. And until the next video, you are to master your fate, the captain of your soul. Stay safe, better yet, stay dangerous. Peace and prosperity.